Good afternoon, everyone. Last slot before lunchtime, so we'll try and keep it short and sharp. Before we kicked off, Jessie and I, who are presenting on behalf of the 2021 and 2022 scholars that attended the CSC, we did just want to take a moment to thank all of our investors. Without these investors, the opportunity to undertake the Nuffield Scholarship and the Nuffield experience would not be possible. So let's buckle up while we take you through a whirlwind tour of the 2022 Contemporary Scholars Conference in England. For those who may not know, the Contemporary Scholars Conference, CSC or CSC, gathers new scholars from across the world for the opportunity to meet and commence the Nuffield journey. In a unique dynamic, the 2022 CSC brought together 2021 and 2022 scholars. But before this, the Aussies and international scholars commenced with the Pre-Csc Tour, an opportunity to get to know the local area, farming systems, and also just get over some jet lag. The Pre-Csc Tour had the 2021 and 2022 scholars arriving a little bleary-eyed and worse for wear after a 16-hour flight to London. Yet the vibe in the room was still energetic and full of excitement as we eagerly got to know each other. Being awarded during COVID times meant that for many of us, this was the first time that we met. The added bonus for the next 5 days was also being able to spend some time with our international peers from Brazil, Argentina, Chile, the USA and Japan. The theme for the next 5 days was getting to know the country, the farming and production systems, and also getting to know each other. The tour featured a variety of businesses and farms across the region, from the bustling Bristol port to a multi-generational dairy farm. So in the background here, we have a photo from Lycross Farms, and then also a new multi-million, I believe, training module that's being used at Bristol Port to train their crane operators. Amongst these tours are also some tests of resilience. For some of us more tropically adapted scholars, we experienced possibly the coldest weather known to man in Cheddar. It was here that we visited Jen Hunter, 2014 scholar, and her partner Andy. What we've got here is the starting of some penguin huddling that got more and more closer as the evening progressed. Jen and Andy operate a regenerative and diversified farm where conservation was the core of their ethos as they integrate wool fibre production, rotational grazing, farm stay and festivals on their Fernhill farm. The diversification of multiple systems within the businesses and farms in the UK was a source of inspiration to many of us. Just seeing how many systems can operate in synergy was a contrast to many of us who are used to single operation businesses. As it seems to be with Nuffield, in a stark contrast, we also came across the value that comes from doubling down on one focus and becoming the best at it. This learning came from Martin Thatcher, 2005 scholar, and the tour of his family's business, Thatcher's Cider, in Somerset. The energy and ambition for this business was boundless and typified the Nuffield scholar. Martin particularly described how a conversation with a Walmart employee combined with an open mind led to huge changes in the business. On completing his scholarship, Martin presented to Thatcher's board how they should no longer explore value-adding fruit juices and instead solely focus on the best quality ciders in the market. This conversation led to investments in technology and factory expansion. Just behind us here is a video of the can processing that he now has at their plant. For the group, this confirmed that at times it's as much about ruling things out as it is about picking up new ideas. Stay open-minded, choose a direction and excel at this. Such a highlight, the evening was then spent celebrating all things learnt about Thatcher's by drinking the local out of Thatcher's. Onwards to the CSC, but unfortunately for some of our scholars, COVID made its appearance and isolation ensued. In a fine display of Aussie resilience and mateship, we found ways to still make sure that those affected were fed, hydrated and zoomed into the CSC sessions. I'll now hand over to Jessie.
Thank you. G'day, I'm Jesse Moody from Cunnamulla in southwest Queensland, thanks to the generous support of Rabobank Australia. For those of us fortunate to dodge the spicy cough, I wasn't one of them, I got it too, but anyway, the CSC proved to be a spectacular event. Walking to a room full of 140 scholars, just like today, was an absolute buzz. It was just electric. Passion was abound in many of us, making the comment, we found our people. As Rob Bradley said yesterday at the AGM, Nuffield aims to encourage enthusiasm and excitement at its events. And what we were privileged to be a part of in England was just that. It's just incredible, as you all know from your own CSCs in the past. Over the course of the conference, we were inundated with new knowledge, and for some of us, the realisation of how much we had to learn about the world's system and the added complexity of the world events and its influence on food production and supply. From international speakers to business hack days, there was a lot to take in. An absolute highlight for all of us was the Norwich. You've even got it in there, see Norwich, Research Centre, and the opportunity we were given to present back on how we as Nuffield scholars can resolve a global issue. From livestock emissions to water security to the solutions were innovative and demonstrated the scholars' can-do approach. Laid with this, we were guided by Robbie Moore MP, 2016 UK scholar, on the importance of government engagement and advocacy, and how having a voice at the table can be critical to shaping industry. The formation of industry groups, involvement in policy, task force, and consultation processes cannot be underestimated. The learnings from the conference and the Norwich Research Centre culminated in a session with the Secretary of State for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, George Eustace, and Lord Currie at the Palace of Westminster, facilitated again by MP Robbie Moore. It was interesting to see the questions asked of them from the scholars from various countries, including individuals focusing on issues differing greatly from those of our own. One of these included a fear of consumers moving away from red meat-based protein, which is an issue that is yet to develop here in Australia, where ironically we're still eating more and more red meat, which is great for us, red meat producers. Here, scholars presented the Minister with our solutions and global issues developed at the Norwich Research Centre. For many of us, this was a true, real-world run at engaging and influencing government on critical agriculture and environmental issues. And with that, the Scholars' Dinner and the end of the CSC, along with, at the back there, I think that's the Queen of Sweden for some reason, but yep, she's there too. For some of us, at the end of the CSC meant the end of the UK tour. But while these scholars headed home, others took the opportunity to stay on for a little longer and make a start on their international travels. This gave us a real chance to lean into the Nuffield networks and get further out in the field. Andrew Rolfe here the whole time was itching to shear a sheep, and it looks like he finally got his chance. He's getting a bit homesick at the Monaro, so yeah, there he is. And Jazz jumped at the opportunity to see Angus at the Angus breed at their near ancestral home. For those that stayed in the UK, this additional time really cemented the climatic differences between the UK farming systems and the Australian farming systems. An absolute stark difference was how the Brits talked about rainfall in metres as opposed to us Australians. We're always envious of their rainfall, but the benefits were not as pronounced as we thought they would be. The lack of warmth and sunshine really impacting their growth. Dare we say it, there is such thing as too much rainfall. Somehow, many in the room might be thinking that right about now as well. The process of culminating the end of the scholars, or all the scholars' feedback, really demonstrated the value, demonstrated the experience and the value we all obtained from it, as you can see from up here. The highlights and learnings from the scholars demonstrated some key trends. This aligns us well for our future global focus program travels and our study travels. Throughout the CSC, the Nuffield experience suddenly became very real, and now we're all exceptionally keen and eager to begin our next steps into the journey that is the Nuffield Australia Scholarship. So thank you very much.